piston rod will slide in and out without any problem, and that seems to be very good. So I will need to put my eccentric in and check for the bearing ride that goes in the groove to make sure it works okay, and also that the drive shaft, when it's center drilled and the bearing goes in, that it lines up over the top of the hole and goes back and forth properly. Hi, I'm back in the shop again today, and if you're a new viewer and you would like to follow more about what I'm doing, subscribe and you'll be notified. But what I'm doing is to build a compressed air motor that can be put in a vehicle and used it instead of a gasoline or a diesel motor. I have most of the parts made. I've been working on it for a while, and yesterday I determined that I'm going to have to make new eccentrics, because the ones that I have were made for a different engine that I had for a prototype, and they're not quite the right size, and the offset is not right, so I can't use those. So yesterday I went to a supply house and I picked up a piece of aluminum, 6-inch by 12-inch. Cost me $29. So I cut it into two 6-inch pieces that will be used to replace these. I'm waiting on a turntable that is going to be used to make the oval or the circular ring, and then offset and drill the hole. But that's not come, and I'm waiting probably till tomorrow. It should be coming in. So in the meantime, I was figuring out how to find the center, drill 2 holes so I can mount this down to the turntable, and then rotate it to produce the groove that I need for the eccentric. Now the eccentric is what actually drives the engine. There's a 1 1/8" bearing that rides inside of the groove, and that is what causes the engine to rotate when it gets into a certain position. It causes it to rotate around this center shaft. Later on you'll see it in actual operation, so not much to talk about there. Yesterday I had put all the cylinders on the base plate. Then I had to, well, the reason I put the cylinders all on there and the push rods, but in order to tell how much space I needed for these spacers under here, I had to put everything on this base plate together with these under it so that I could measure the distance clearance and clearance above in order to determine how high I have to have the secondary plate in order to have the proper location. Things are pretty slow because I'm waiting, like I said, on the rotary table for that. Once I get the rotary table, it'll be a couple of days when I work on these. Then I'll be able to assemble that base with the eccentrics, put this bearing to it, and then start working on other areas such as where the valves are located. They will bolt to these two small holes underneath the plate. And then this would go upside down underneath the plate to give the engine two bearings, a bearing up here and then a bearing underneath on the bottom. All the bearings are sealed. The engine will not be using any lubrication. I have, for the pistons, it is a high molecular weight plastic that is good for abrasion and friction. So I'll be using those for pistons. And there will not be any metal seals. There will be a leather seal such as goes in a bicycle pump, if you've ever been familiar with one of those. Or back in the old days when you had to pump the old tire up with a hand pump when you had a flat. They work very well and they don't require any lubrication. Yeah, well, other than that, if you are a new viewer, you might want to go back and check some of my last few videos to find out where we're at and exactly what I'm doing. I've made a total of 120 videos now, and I'll be working on number 121 probably today and tomorrow, so there will be another one very shortly coming. So I'd say for now, I'll keep it short. As soon as you get my notification, open it up, see what's going on. And if you don't get a notification, maybe in 3 or 4 days, just go ahead and check out my website again. It's called Air Engine Research. Yeah, for you long-time subscribers, thanks for checking in. I hope I'm keeping you up to date. And any questions, any comments, please feel free to add them.